Hey everyone, it's Nate here with Element Van Life. Wanted to do another Tuesday Q&A video here. This is the second one that I've done. I'm going to be trying to do these every other week for now. Got a lot of great questions to go over from the previous ones, so a lot of good comments as well. Thank you guys so much for your support. I'm going to try to answer the questions that I got as fully and as best I can here. Please post your questions on this video in the comment section below, and I will do my best to answer them in the next video. I'm assuming, like I said, it'll be within the next, at some point, probably 2 Tuesdays from now, more than likely. It seems like every other Tuesday seems to be a good pace for getting some good questions and everything like that. So let's get started. Lots of good questions here, guys. First one is from Frank Ruiz. It says, what if you want to live in a van as a college or university student? It's a good question. You know, I haven't actually done that as a university student, but when I was in New Orleans, obviously I went to school in New Orleans. I went to Tulane down there, so I spent a lot of time on campus, you know, kind of hanging out. You know, I used the library. I still have like an alumni network access and all that, so I was able to get internet access pretty easily. So, you know, I go spend time at the library. My gym membership was on campus, so I had a membership at the recreation center there. So I spent a lot of time on campus. That being said, I never really stayed overnight on campus. For one thing, I know most universities are, you know, very busy with, like, they have a police force. They have, you know, often a lot of security going on and stuff like that. So if I was repeatedly staying on campus, I feel like I would stick out and folks would be able to notice that. The police force would notice it. So I avoided that. I think I might have spent maybe 1 or 2 nights total on campus when I was there for 5 weeks. And it was just in the parking garage. So that was even more, I guess, more discreet than, say, being like on campus somewhere just parked out in a parking spot. So, you know, in terms of being a university or college student, you know, maybe it would be a good idea to avoid staying on campus. I don't know. I mean, it depends if there's a police force. It depends what university or college you're talking about. But, you know, definitely something that's doable. You know, I know a lot of folks do that. They do the van dwelling thing and they go to school full time and works for them. And I see no reason why it wouldn't work for you if it's something you're considering, Frank. Next question comes from Sanctus Vianney. He asked, are you mechanically inclined for basic to moderate repairs? Yes, I'd say I'm somewhat mechanically inclined. You know, I'm obviously not like a professional or anything like that. I'm not great, but, you know, when I open up the hood, I kind of know what's going on. I've always been interested and passionate about cars. I even worked for CarMax for a little while. You know, I've been involved in the automotive industry to an extent. I do like cars a lot, so I'm comfortable doing like basic, you know, repairs and stuff. Like I've changed my serpentine belt on my car. You know, done some basic maintenance items like the rear differential fluid, things like that. You know, obviously if something major goes wrong with like the engine or the transmission, I don't know what I'm doing, and that would be a problem. But for basic, you know, basic repairs, things like that, you know, changing headlights, really simple stuff, definitely something that I can do pretty easily on my own, and that I do on my own. My collection of video games asked, have you heard of the eCamper? The only people who make them happen to be in San Diego. If you've heard of them, what are your thoughts? I own a Honda Element as well, and I find your videos and journey amazing. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, so I have heard of the eCamper. It's something that I knew about even before I started the whole van dwelling thing. Even before I bought the Element, I'd seen the videos of the eCamper with the pop top. They are really interesting. They're pretty cool. You know, definitely a neat, I guess, like a luxury to have. I think that's how I would describe it. For me, like, I don't know if I can justify spending the money on it. I know that they are really, really expensive. Like almost twice the value of my car, you know, is the actual value of the actual eCamper. So we're talking like $6,000 to maybe $8,000. I think, I don't know off the top of my head. I haven't looked at it recently. Maybe it's gotten cheaper recently or not. But when I had initially thought about it, they were pretty expensive. They were pretty much the same price that I paid for the Element up front. So to double that cost, you know, didn't really seem worth it. And right now I don't even really have the funds to do something like that anyway. So I personally wouldn't. You know, they are really neat. It's kind of nice because you basically use the sunroof here to pop up, and they remove the sunroof, and then you can kind of stand up where the sunroof is. It's obviously, I don't think it's as useful as like a Volkswagen Westfalia or a Vanagon, where it's towards the front and you have the sink in the kitchen area where you can actually stand up. With the Element, I think it's a little bit different because you really pretty much only have this sunroof area to stand up. What's good is that it creates a bed on top, but obviously that sacrifices stealthiness. You know, when you're doing the pop top, you have to be somewhere where you don't care about stealth. And then when you don't have the pop top, you even still, the roof is raised like 6 or 7 inches. So, you know, you have that added roof on there, and it does make it stick out a little more. Like I always notice them when I see them driving by, and I'm like, oh, there's an e-camper. It's cool to see, but definitely would sacrifice stealthiness. And for me, the main reason why I bought the Element was for stealthiness. That was a huge part of it. So I don't think I would ever get them. They're great if you're doing like camping trips and things like that, and you have the extra $5,000-$6,000 to spend on it, whatever it is. I'm sure that they would be great for a camping trip. You could fit more people. You could make a bed underneath, and you can make a bed on top, so you could bring 4 people with you and have a really comfortable setup. All kind of stuff that you could do with it from that perspective. But for what I'm using the Element for, I don't think that I would want to get one. Chizzy D asked, can you give a link to your new fridge that you bought? Well, I can say what website I got it on. It's from jet.com, just jet.com. I found it on there. I obviously, I'm an Amazon associate and all that, but I just, it's more expensive on Amazon, so I feel kind of bad putting a link to an Amazon, an Amazon link on here that doesn't that's more expensive than I actually paid for it on Jet, like $150 more. So I think I got it for $316 on jet.com. If you just go on there and type in Dometic CF18, it'll be the first one that comes up. I know that they still had quite a few in stock, so it's like an overstock type website, and I was lucky to get a good deal on it. It's working out great so far, guys. I absolutely love it, so definitely recommend it. The inside dimensions of the van. All right, I forgot to prepare for this one. Let's see if I can reach my tape measure here. Let's see here. Got it. We got it. All right, so I'm going to just kind of measure as best I can for the inside dimensions. It's kind of hard to get a really accurate count of the dimensions just because I have everything in here, obviously the bed and stuff like that. But I can give you like the width at the widest point here. Let's see here. So width at the widest point, I've got 52 inches at the widest point here. Maybe a little bit more towards the bottom, somewhere between 52 and 53 inches at the width. And the height at the tallest point, which is right here in the middle, is just about 48 inches or so, maybe 47 inches, let's say 47 inches at the tallest point. Obviously you have a little bit more space when you have the sunroof here, so you can fit your head. Like when I'm sitting up, I can sit up pretty tall and not have any issues with my headroom because of the sunroof. But yeah, I'd say just about 52 inches in width and 47 inches in height at the tallest point. Overall length, when I have the seats fully extended forward, I have just over 6 feet between the back of the van, the back of the Element, and when it touches the actual seats when they're all the way forward. So that's why my bed is exactly 6 feet in length. The mattress is like 75 inches, and it all fits perfectly in there with no problems at all. So just over 6 feet in length overall. I think like cubic cargo space is like 35 square feet or something like that. I'm not really 100% sure, but that's it. And there's a bunch of diagrams and stuff online that you can find. They're not super easy to find. You kind of have to dedicate yourself to it. I remember when I was buying the Element, I was obsessed with cubic cargo space, obviously, because I was thinking about this possible van life thing and all that. So, I definitely spent some time researching the dimensions on the inside. And I remember when I bought it, the guy that I bought it from, I was like, I had a tape measure with me, and I'm measuring the interior of his car, and he's looking at me like I'm like crazy or something. But it was definitely worth it because I was able to get a grasp of, especially the height and the width. Those were the things that were the most important to me. In terms of comparing it to other compact SUVs, guys, the Element has excellent cubic cargo space inside, and that's a big reason why I chose to get it. So hope that helps. Hope those dimensions help. All right, another question comes from Mike Kincook. He says, love these new Q&As. Do you ever worry about your surfboard or gear on your roof getting stolen? Not really. I know that it's something that definitely happens pretty frequently in San Diego. Unfortunately, it's just how it is. There's a lot of people with surfboards on the roof, and sometimes boards get stolen. I have some pretty awesome straps that I use on the roof. They are stainless steel on the inside, and they also have a locking mechanism which I can lock for both of the straps. So to get the boards off while they're locked on there would take some serious effort, and I'm not really away from the van that often. And if I am away from it for an extended period of time, I'm probably surfing, so I probably already have my boards anyway. So it's it's not too bad, guys. It works out. And I'm not super worried about it because of the setup that I have. They're also not really that valuable, worst case scenario, but fingers crossed. I mean, it would really suck to have them stolen, so hopefully that doesn't happen, but don't worry about it too much. thoughts about having a new segment in your Q&A videos where you give us an update on any unique or weird van life lifestyles experiences in your lifestyle since the last video. Yeah, that seems like a pretty interesting idea. I think more often than not, I would try to include those like unique van life experiences in my other videos that I do, not so much the Q&A. I'd like to maybe reserve the Q&As for just answering questions and stuff like that, but I definitely want to start including more unique experiences and things like that in my, in like my standard videos that I do. Eventually, I'm thinking I'll do like a vlog or something like that, but that's down the line. Once I start traveling, I'm going to be in San Diego for a little while, but eventually I'm going to spend some time on the road and be traveling away from San Diego. So once I start doing that, I'm sure that I'll have more unique experiences that occur, and I obviously definitely want to share those with you guys, definitely. California Special asks, I have a question for your next Q&A. Did you get rid of all your stuff, or do you have some in storage or with family and friends? You don't appear to carry anything like tools. Did you plan to mostly urban camp? Do you have a state or annual pass for parking? Yeah, that's great. Some good questions there. So in terms of my stuff, no, I pretty much sold all of my stuff. So yeah, I got rid of just about everything. Everything that I have in here is the stuff that's important to me, and mostly I don't really have much else. I think I have like one bin of I guess like sentimental items and like important documents like my diploma and stuff like that. That's up home with my family. It's just like a little plastic bin. Other than that, though, I have some posters that I collected from concerts, a couple of little posters that I kept from some concerts that I went to back in the day. So that's pretty much it, though. I also have the chairs to the Element, which are in New Orleans, and my friends have them in New Orleans because obviously I can't fit them in here, the rear seats. But even that, I don't even really know what's going to happen with those. Basically, just in case I ever sell the Element again, which I'm sure that I will at some point, maybe. Who knows? But those I have those as well. But for the most part, I got rid of everything. I don't really carry too many tools. I have a small toolkit with like basic hand tools and stuff like that. Like the tape measure here, a few other, some other stuff, hammers, screwdrivers, stuff like that. In terms of power tools, I don't have much. I would like to maybe get some more tools at some point, which I would be able to fit them. I keep them in the front seat underneath the seat, so I'd probably be able to fit them up there in terms of tools. Definitely something that I'm thinking about getting, though, especially once I start getting away from the urban camping. Right now, I am mostly urban camping, so there is access to like mechanics and things like that. But once I do start, if I do go out, into national parks and stuff like that, then obviously it'd be nice to have some other tools and stuff like that, because I'll be more remote and away from any sort of help. Do you have a state annual pass for parking? I don't have any sort of annual parking pass or anything like that. Once I start traveling again, I'm definitely going to get the national park pass that you can get, because I think it's like 70 or something. Someone suggested it to me a while back. Definitely something that I'll do, because I think you pay like $70 and it's good for 2 years and you have access to all the national parks. So that'll definitely be something that I'll get once I start getting out there and traveling more in a couple of months. Alan Thompson and Ace Math both ask, how do you make a living on the road? Thanks. So in terms of revenue, I mean, really what I'm trying to do is at this point, I'm just kind of working a seasonal job here in San Diego as a surf instructor. So I'm doing that for a little while, at least while I'm here. I'm thinking that, like I said, I'll be here for another couple of months during the summer, and then from there I'll move on. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing with that. I'm also teaching myself to code and do web development. So I've been making some revenue as a freelance web developer, and hoping to continue to grow that business as well, so that down the line that can kind of provide the majority of my income, so that I can be anywhere and be able to make money. I'm also just really interested in web development and coding and designing applications and stuff like that. So something that I'm continually teaching myself and trying to get better at, so that I can develop revenue down the road. But right now, the freelance stuff and then working as a surf instructor has been paying the bills fine. It's doing fine. So for the next couple of months, that should be that's the plan for now, and then we'll go from there. If I need to get like a seasonal job while I travel to another place, I'd be interested in doing that as well, to supplement income from the freelance web development stuff. But we'll see. It really depends. Like, hard to predict down the future, but that's the plan, though. That's the plan for revenue. I think that's it for questions, guys. So I've gotten through everything here. So please post any questions that you have for the next video in the comment section below, and I will answer them just like this. A lot of good stuff out there. I think these videos are a great way to get a lot of information out there. So feel free to ask away, ask whatever you need to. I'll be happy to answer it. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.